Breaking news, allegedly. A report from Tom Henderson, the one and only from Insider Gaming. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is coming to PlayStation, it's claimed. A reputable insider has claimed that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle will be coming to PS5 after an expired timed exclusive window. That's according to Nate the Hate, who took the news to Twitter. Machine Games Indiana Jones and the Great Circle will release on Xbox and PC this holiday, December, as a timed console exclusive. After this timed exclusive window expires, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is planned to come to PlayStation 5 in the first half of 2025. According to Insider Gaming sources, some outlets have been given the heads up on the news and have signed NDAs, but it's currently unclear on if the information will be announced at Tuesday's opening night live or not. Nate's claims come following another report from The Verge's Tom Warren in February, who stated that Bethesda was, quote, considering, end quote, bringing Indiana Jones to the PS5. As for the information Nate has revealed himself, the news that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle will only be a timed exclusive for what appears to be less than 6 months has already had people talking about Microsoft's future strategy with its Xbox titles. Earlier this month, Insider Gaming did reveal that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was still intended for release in 2024. I mean, oh, wow. So they're saying this guy, Nate the Hate, is saying this in his tweet, which is apparently a reputable person and has a history of this. Did I say 4? I meant more. So he said that, and then Insider Gaming is saying that some outlets have been given the heads up and have signed NDAs, but are talking off the record to them. Man, what do you guys think? What do you think? I want to hear in chat. What do you think? My opinion of this is that I'm not at all surprised. I mean, none of this is shocking. I think what Xbox has been trying to do for like a decade, 15 years, has not been working. It just hasn't been working. So they are trying to do something different, and they're approaching all of their software distribution the same way they approach Microsoft and the Office platform. So they are shifting towards this broader approach of just distributing software. They don't care where you download it. They don't care where you get it from. As long as you're playing their stuff, they're happy. And I think it can't go worse than the Xbox has been going, honestly. Like, if Xbox were to lock down exclusivity, in their opinion, they don't think people are going to magically start buying Xboxes in droves. They think people are locked in enough to not change their habits now. And they can't really afford to wait until the PlayStation 6 generation and hope that they can gain some ground and then regain some ground over that generation and then try with the PS7 generation and gain ground there with console sales. Because that will basically mean that for the next 10 to 15 years, they are going to be losing money, hoping that they eventually can build up enough of a platform that they can continue to beat down PlayStation. Whereas now, their approach is just distribute the software. We win whether you're playing it on PlayStation or not. If you buy the game for $70 on PlayStation in early 2025, they're going to still make money. A little bit less than if you bought it through Xbox or bought it on their platform, but they still win. So it's not surprising to me at all. And it just reaffirms that Xbox's approach is fundamentally different than PlayStation's. And anytime anybody tries to hold Xbox to the same standard they hold PlayStation, they just fundamentally misunderstand what they're trying to do, which is to basically just decide, hey, we're losing at that game. Let's just make our own and play that, and then we'll win. So can't say I'm surprised. Can't say I'm surprised. So Xbox has given up, but it's trying to pretend like they weren't even playing in the first place. No, they're not even pretending. Phil Spencer has already said they lost the generation. They lost last generation. Like, he's been very transparent about it. They're just saying, hey, we've been losing at this game. Let's just play a different game. PlayStation can do their thing with their timed or full-on exclusives that they eventually bring to PC. But we are going to do our own thing, and we'll win by even selling games on PlayStation. They just aren't approaching it in this super hyper exclusive way like Sony's been doing. But what's interesting is Sony is going to stop playing that game too. Most of Sony's stuff, it looks like, is going to start to come closer and closer and closer to day one on PC because they need to increase margins. So it seems like the age of these full-on console exclusives are probably starting to be behind us, except for Nintendo. It seems like even PlayStation is starting to look at ways that they can get these big games coming to PC within a year or less. Yeah, timed exclusivity will be a thing moving forward for sure. I think they're also going to really push for Game Pass subscriptions, and they're going to do early access. I think everything's going to have early access. It's going to be upgrade to the deluxe for $35 like they did with Starfield, and you can play the game 5 days early. And they're just going to try to ride that to the gravy train, hop on the gravy train that way. Sony dried out. Sony just, their margins are too tight because they've been wasting so much freaking money. Will they win though? Will they win what? Nobody's talking about the console war except for like teenagers and wannabe YouTubers. Like the console war is not something anybody's concerned with. Microsoft wins whether you're playing on PC or Xbox, or if they sell you something on PlayStation, because either way they're getting your money. Even when you play on PC through Steam, you're still playing most likely on a Windows PC, and Microsoft wins in that case too, because at least they have their hooks in you there. Like, Microsoft is just aiming to be like the end all be all for everything, and they're kind of doing it. So we'll see if the revenue is actually there, but they seem to be fundamentally changing what they're trying to do. Yeah, of winning the services battle, people need to subscribe or buy their games, and those numbers don't appear to be growing. So it depends. As for growing Game Pass, yeah, Game Pass has not really been growing. They've seemingly exhausted most of it. As for their margins have been increasing. Depends on where you look though, because the data is really tough to find and it's mostly third-party analysts. But PlayStation, or rather Xbox, they have pretty much been sitting on the sidelines for the last 2 years, and we saw in that Xbox showcase what they've been working on, and they've got some ridiculously huge things coming. And I mean, all of that is setting aside the Activision acquisition. If you include the Activision acquisition, they have grown by 40-50% in a year. You know, it's outrageous, but it's because they bought like the biggest game publisher in the world. So you would expect them to pop off. So they are growing. They are seeing crazy amounts of money come in. It's just taking time.